Alrighty, everyone. Well, game number 2 in this best of 5 series finds us on New Repugnancy LE. Spawning here, the top right-hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Zerg pieces. He's currently up in the series and wants to keep it rolling in his favor. His name is none other than Serral. And his opponent, spawning the bottom left-hand corner of the map, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of the series just yet. His name is soO. So, guys and girls, game number 1 in this series was a pretty exciting one. There was moments that it looked like soO was the one who really wanted to dictate the pace of the game, but then Serral saw that soO was going for a 4th hatchery, and instead of going on his own 4th hatchery, decided to go ahead and use the Nidus network to go into multiple bases, wreaking havoc and forcing soO to GG out of that first game. It all comes down to the micro and the ZvZ matchup, and Serral just played an absolutely, played very brilliantly in that first game, especially when we're talking about those engagements. The good defense a lot of times will translate to really good offense when it comes to this matchup, but just StarCraft 2 in general. So what was very interesting was up to that point of the Nidus network, when Serral went for the Nidus network switch, it was very interesting because both players had very similar build orders up to that point. It was very similar, and then all of a sudden soO was going for, he was kind of like going for that, just macro focus game and going for the Spire, whereas Serral just went ahead and decided, you know what, you're going to go for the Spire, you're going to go for that 4th hatchery. I am going to do a Nidus network push and get my units across the map, and it absolutely worked brilliantly. Let's see how soO responds here in game number 2 as he decides to go for that hatch gas pool opener, so very standard. The same can be said for Serral. He's going for a very similar build, and so the early stages, it does look like it's going to be, pretty standard on both sides. Now, we are going to see Serral going for the metabolic boost upgrade a little bit earlier than his opponent, and it looks like soO is going for a couple of queens here. He's going to try to drone up and get saturated on 2 bases, but it does look like there are going to be a couple of Zerglings moving out for Serral at this point. And I gotta say that, soO, even though, the question is he going to be rattled now that he got beat by a Nidus network push there? Or is he just going to go, back into what he was planning on doing in game number 1, which was that, that macro focus game? Because I think that's the biggest question mark that I would have at this point is he going to, go for something relatively standard or something aggressive? Very interestingly enough, though, we are going to see that he's going to be going for the very quick lair, try to get those higher tier lair-based units and skipping out on the 3rd hatchery, at least as of right now. Serral going for that 3rd hatchery at this current moment. And so this is going to get interesting very quickly. He's going to go for the evolution chamber as well as the roach one. So I'm assuming that there's going to be a push here sooner rather than later from soO. It looks like he is kind of, he's continuing to drone up, but he's getting that roach warren out relatively quickly. Evolution chamber is out. Now, Serral, the same can be said for him. He's got that evolution chamber going up. He's got that roach warren that's beginning, and he's got a bunch of Zerglings that are starting to move across the map here. So the big question now, is there going to be enough defense here for Serral, or I'm sorry, for soO? It does look like he's got enough queens here to kind of hold off against all of these Zerglings. Now, Serral is going to see that the 3rd hatchery is not up yet, so he is going to wonder what is happening at this point as he's got more and more Zerglings that are starting to move across the map here. He's possibly going to try to get into that natural base location that could absolutely wreak havoc. We are going to see Glad Reconstitution being researched for soO, and then we're also going to see those +1 upgrades started out of the evolution chamber for both players, for of course those ground-based units. So, I mean, it looks like both players really, they're once again kind of giving each other that mutual respect that they do deserve. But here's the thing. The longer the game goes, Serral's going to be ahead of the economy as far as his economy is going to be booming versus soO, who is still on just 2 bases. So I'm a little bit concerned right now what the plan is here for soO, as Serral's starting to get fully droned up on 3 bases. He's now getting his lair just now, so it's a little bit late, but I'm wondering, is soO going to try to pull what Serral did and go for the Nidus network, possibly? That would be kind of interesting, trying to kind of get an eye for an eye here. At this point, he's trying to hide a lot of these roaches. He's still trying to kind of hide some of them. So it does look like those roaches are now out. Glad Constitution's research, and more of those roaches are now starting to be added to the mix. So soO, trying to be as sneaky as possible, is going to hide some of those roaches. But now Serral is going to see what is coming. And now Serral is going to have to get a lot of roaches out, which he's got 13 on the production tab right now as soO is starting to move across the map. Is there going to be enough here, though, to really make a dent into this army composition of Serral, which really is mainly just roaches and a couple of queens? Now, we are going to start seeing some Ravagers coming out as well now. So this is going to get interesting. soO trying to kind of make up his mind whether he wanted to attack and when he wanted to. I feel like he should have maybe attacked a little bit sooner, but nonetheless, soO is doing that right now as he's starting to move on to that third base location. I just don't know. Is there going to be enough here for soO to hold on? Serral is really got a nice fortified position at this third hatchery, which is going to make things very difficult for soO. soO's now going ahead and getting his third hatchery just now, and it does look as if those +2 upgrades are going to be started here. I just wonder, is there going to be enough here for soO, as soO's going to try to get a couple of units here for free. The micro back and forth is going to come into play. Serral kind of unsure whether he wants to really take this engagement fully, as more and more Ravagers are being added to the mix here. soO knows he has to make a dent here, and if he doesn't, it could spell absolute disaster, and Serral could take a 2-0 lead over him. So he's got to really take this engagement as well as possible. The micro is coming into effect, and it's hard to tell who's got the lead right now. soO is kind of chipping away at this army, slowly but surely, surprisingly. Beautiful play here. soO has taken a lead in the supply count. Does look like he's got more and more roaches that are going to be coming out. He's kind of droning up as well. So we're kind of at a stalemate here. The question, a real stalemate at this third hatchery of Serral. And now you got more and more roaches that are being added to the mix. Serral is just now getting Glad Constitution researched. Now, here's the thing, is that I'm just wondering, is there going to be enough here once again? And once again, here we go. It looks like these units are going to try to pounce on Serral, trying to throw him off a little bit off guard. More and more of those biles are kind of landing on some of these units. They're trying to target fire down those Ravagers, having a little bit of a hard time. Glad Constitution is going to be finished on less than 5 seconds for Serral. Missile attacks level 2, though, finishes up for soO. And once again, it looks like Serral's defense has held, at least for the time being. And now you got to love the position Serral's in. He held on. He kind of didn't take any critical losses. He's fully droned up on 3 bases. Now, soO, of course, is not out of this thing just yet by any stretch of the imagination. But I gotta say, Serral's defense has been absolutely on point right now. And it'll be interesting to see if he decides to really just start attacking, and that's exactly what it looks like he is doing. He's going after these Ravagers, trying to, you know, pick off a few of these Ravagers as he can. But once again, we are seeing the Nidus network. Wow. So Serral, I mean, the real point of emphasis here is he is feeling confident right now, and he's going to go for another Nidus push. And he's just thinking to himself, why not? But he's running these units just straight in, and GG is called. And soO is able to even up this series 1-1 with what looked like a very just, you know, it was kind of standard. It felt like that Serral, you know, he was going to go for that Nidus network. It might have worked out. Maybe it wouldn't have. But nonetheless, I mean, you can see soO did, you know, he took a nice lead, but I think Serral was just thrown off just a little bit there, and he kind of ran his army into soO's army and was kind of just, you know, just running his units across the map when I think he just, it was probably a misclick. But nonetheless, soO is able to tie up this series 1-1. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between soO and Serral, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you stay positive, and I'll see you guys all in game number 3.